Let's look at how we can help children with autism to develop fine motor skills, of which writing is an important part. There are 4 basic language skills, and they usually occur in this order. First listening, then speaking, and then children learn to read and then to write. This means that children will first do a lot of listening, followed by speaking, and then over time they will learn to read and to write. Reading and writing are meant to become the tools for learning, and they follow upon a sound foundation of having listened, spoken, and communicated for a long time. But with autistic children who have difficulties with joint attention and concentration, these are then connected to listening deficits. And these deficits in respect of listening then feed into communication delays, which in turn lead to learning difficulties. However, on the bright side, for some children with autism, both reading and writing, although symbolic in nature, has at the same time some visual and concrete elements. And what I mean by this is if we look at the word dolphin, as I've shown you on screen, dolphin is a symbol for a real dolphin or for this picture of a dolphin. But the word itself is something that we can see, we can remember it, we can connect it to its corresponding picture or photo, and this then leads to understanding and meaning. And so all of these concrete elements which are found within reading and writing can be useful when we are teaching autistic children, in spite of communication and learning delays. Parents, carers, and educators are encouraged to take advantage of the visual aspects of reading and writing as a tool for helping children with autism to learn more about the world and to write down what they learn, as well as to record their experiences wherever they are able to. Reading and writing is possible, even in situations where children have limited communication abilities, and even children who are non-verbal can be taught to read. Please refer to my video titled How to Teach Children with Autism to Read, and the link is included here for your ease of reference. I begin the discussion about writing by referring to fine motor skills. A fine motor skill is the coordination of hands, fingers, and the movements of the eyes in order to accomplish certain tasks. Fine motor skills are necessary for so many things that a child does in his daily life. For self-care, such as putting on shoes, buttoning clothes, combing hair, then things like cutting, coloring, pasting. Motor skill development is necessary for all of these aspects. And then fine motor skill development is essential for a child to develop a pencil grasp and then to eventually write. And handwriting, of course, will take up much of a child's school day in the early days. For children who have specific physical difficulties such as low muscular tone, professional help is required by a speech or occupational therapist as may be required. But fine motor skills have to be developed in children who are neurotypical and similarly in children with disabilities. And the thing is that most of the activities that apply or that are used by neurotypical children can at the same time be used by children who have disabilities. And many of these activities are often used by therapists in structured sessions to develop children's fine motor skills, but obviously in a more skilled and goal-orientated way than a parent would be able to do it. But the point is there are so many things that parents can in fact do, or possibly even siblings or carers, in order to develop a child's fine motor skills. I'm going to start off by listing some of the categories of fine motor skills that can be practiced, within the home. Things like cutting, tracing, self-care skills like bathing and washing, opening and closing jars and so on, even carrying objects. Then the dressing skills, pre-writing skills such as, for instance, joining dots, folding activities, and also sorting activities. completing a maze or any kind of tracking activity, modeling with dough or clay, sketching and painting, completing puzzles and pegboards, building blocks, for example, Lego, sewing activities, weaving, and so on. So those are the general categories of fine motor activities that are available to you. Here are some simple examples. So I'm basically translating it for you into a simple example of what you could do or what you could help your child to do. And I'm not going to name all of them here. You can obviously look at the slide in your own time. But let's say, for instance, rolling out Play-Doh to make snakes or other shapes, using tweezers to pick up small objects, using a punch to make designs on a piece of paper, stringing pasta or cereal onto yarn, shredding paper, cutting paper, and playing all sorts of card games. Getting your child to peel a sticker off and then to stick it onto a piece of paper, finger painting, painting pictures, coloring in pictures, sorting small shapes, building towers, using a spoon or a pincer to transfer an object from one dish to another. Cutting out pictures and then gluing them onto paper, making collages, using stencils, taping paper onto the wall and then drawing a picture on that paper. Using a spray bottle. Spray bottle is actually quite effective to develop hand strength and a child's grip. Making toys like paper airplanes out of paper, so to help to build a child's dexterity when it comes to handling paper and all sorts of objects. Cut up a picture into pieces and then make your own puzzle. Pop, bubble wrap. Practice flipping over one card at a time from a deck of cards. Play with small sponges in water. Play hand clapping games. Use clay to make objects or small balls. Using sidewalk chalk. Putting elastics or rubber bands around different size objects. This obviously requires you to use hand strength and to be precise in the way you use the rubber band. Making confetti by tearing up recycled paper. So the emphasis on these fine motor skills is obviously because it helps a child with all sorts of daily activities, helps to make him more independent with regard to self-care, and then could eventually lead to him learning to write, to draw, to cut, and so on. And the beauty of these activities is that they can be fun. They are concrete activities. They are challenging for children, so it's likely that many children will in fact enjoy them. And many of these activities, because they have such an element of fun within them, can be an opportunity for you as a parent or a carer or a peer to interact with the child by doing the activity together, for instance by taking turns or by building something together. And this in turn addresses some of the core challenges of autism, the communication delays, social deficits, repetitive behaviors, but at the same time you are helping your child to do many vital tasks independently, such as basic hygiene and grooming, and then of course drawing, cutting and writing. There is a wonderful book called 1001 Great Ideas for Teaching and Raising Children with Autism or Asperger's. And in the edition I used, it was quite true to its promise. There were in fact 1001 activities in the book for you to pick and choose from, and all of them were in some way fostering learning, development and social relationships, as well as developing fine motor skills, but all in fun and engaging ways. So the ideas are not limited to fine motor skills. In this book they do incorporate activities that seek to stimulate all areas of development. Because children love Play-Doh so much, I've put down a recipe here for Play-Doh. a very simple Play-Doh recipe which you can look at in your own time, and provided it's done in the correct quantities and the dough is stored in an airtight container, it would be much more economical than purchasing dough from the store. And I found from my experience that children simply love Play-Doh and can spend a lot of time playing with it and just not being aware of how much it benefits them in terms of strengthening their hands. And here's a nice simple recipe for making finger paint. I've included a link for a website that has a list of many objects that can be used to help children to develop fine motor skills. And I think this is a useful resource for parents. My child enjoyed drawing, so what I used to do is I had her draw her own pictures and then write out the word beneath the picture. So for instance, she would draw a star, color it in, and then write the word star, of course copied. So she then learned to make her own flashcards, and when we moved beyond flashcards, we began to make small reading books which were based on her own experiences, and the book would contain either her own drawings or her own photos and would have a topic. Akila is at the mall. My suggestion is don't go to stores and buy too many things. Our homes are in fact filled with objects that can be used for fine motor practice, and writing and drawing itself only requires a pencil or a crayon and a sheet of paper. But whatever objects, of course, that you are using, make sure that they are safe and that they are used under good supervision. When you get to the stage where your child is reading and writing, use both reading and writing as a tool, one of the tools to help your child to learn more and more things about the world. It's not so much about keeping up with goals that are established in school. It is about your child using a tool that he has learned, for instance, the ability to write, to record things, and to learn more about the world that he lives in and everything that is around him.